The endgame build is here. This build can do everything from shooting to dribbling to dunking to defense. This is the best all-around build in the entire game. If you want to create a build that is a Hall of Famer before he even plays his first game, then you have came to the right place. What's up, guys? It's a little backloader video, and after a very long search, we finally have the best build in NBA 2K23. A lot of players, especially new ones, make a lot of mistakes when they make their new builds, but today I got you guys. I put in hours, even days, into my player builder to figure out this build. This build is so versatile that I can guard any player, from a 6-foot dribble guard all the way up to a 7-foot post scorer. Like, bro, I'm not even kidding when I say that too. And how many builds can do that on this game? Not many. Also, in this video, I'm gonna show you how to get up to an extra 13 badges on your build. Don't skip around. Everything in this video is going to be helpful. Also, usually I only show one version of the build, whether it's on next gen or current, but today I'm showing both versions. So whatever console you're playing on, I'm going to have a build for you because the builder is a little bit different depending on what game you play. If you guys are new, make sure to press the red subscribe button, sub up, turn on my post notifications so you guys don't miss a stream or upload, and comment, when did you subscribe to my channel? I'm going to go through, heart every comment, even reply to a bunch of them. But without further ado, it is finally time to reveal to you guys the build that I am calling the Hall of Famer, the best build in NBA 2K23. Okay, so let's get into it. And the first version of this build that I'm going to be going over is the current gen version. So if you're playing on the GOAT boat, I'm not talking about the city, I'm going to get to that in a second, but if you're playing on the GOAT boat, this is the version for you, although the builds are very similar. Obviously, if you have this option, you're going to want to click yes. You can start with up to 25 badges, and you can go all the way to a 90 overall off rip instead of an 85. If you're wondering how do you get this option, you just have to do the rebirth quest, which is basically if you have another player, you just got to get him to a 90 overall. So if this is your first player, then you're not going to be able to do this, but if you have another one, just do the quest. To start off, we have the position. Are we going point guard? Are we going shooting guard, small forward, power forward, or center? If you guys don't know, 2K made it so you could still be a point guard and go all the way up to 6'9". And let's be honest, position really doesn't matter except for my career. And if you want to grind your build in my career and get your attributes fast, you're going to want to be the point guard so you can run the offense, throw a lot of lobs to people, and just get my points fast. And also, this build is not taller than 6'9", so I'm not going to have to go with any of the other positions. We're just going to stick with point guard. Handedness, this is personal preference. I always go with righty, although some people say lefties shoot better. I think that's a myth though, but I'm gonna go with righty because that's what I've always done. Jersey number, again, personal preference, but we're gonna go with 0 because that's the amount of people that can guard us. Now we have the body settings, the height, weight, wingspan, and body shape. Now let's start off with the height. Now, if you guys are 6'5" and above, you get different dribble moves than builds that are 6'4" and below. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, like I said before, we're trying to make the most versatile build possible. We're trying to make a build that can do everything and also guard every single build. So if you want to be able to guard, point guards, play shots that, dribble really fast, then you probably gotta be pretty short. But if you also want to guard post scorers that are 7'3", going to be post hooking over you, you gotta be pretty tall. Now this 6'9" height is pretty broken. If you guys know, I have a build called the him build. That build is crazy. But what if we make a build that is a little bit shorter at 6'8"? This way we're going to be a little bit faster. And look at the stats on the right when we're 6'9". You guys see all of these? Look at them compared to when we're 6'8". The only thing that goes down is like standing dunk and post control. Everything else goes up when we're 6'8". So we are able to make a much better build. So we're gonna go with 6'8" for the height. Now for the weight, we're gonna bring this down. As you guys know, you pretty much always want to go down in the weight if you want to be faster, if you want to get an increase to your speed and excel. You guys see, if I go up, the speed and excel is gonna go way down to like 75 excel. But if I go down, the excel will give me an 82 excel. We're not gonna go all the way to minimum though. We're gonna go up to 186. You guys see 85 speed, 82 excel. Again, that's the main thing you want to look at when you're changing your weight on your build. And for the wingspan, the default wingspan is 7'1" for point guards. We can go all the way up to 7'6", and we can go all the way down to 6'8". Now if you guys know me, you know I like to play defense very well, and on all my builds, or most of them, I go up on the wingspan. Maybe not max, but I go pretty high on the wingspan. For this build though, I want to get interesting. I want to have a pretty high 3-point shot. Of course, like I said, everything on this build is going to be really good, but I want this build to have a way higher 3-point shot. Like on my 6'9" build, we have an 83.3. I think we have max wingspan, but on this build, we're going to go default wingspan at 7'1". That way we can get an 89 3-pointer and get gold agent threes, which is like the best badge in the game. Body shape really doesn't matter. You can pick whatever you want, but I always go with compact. Now we have the attribute screen, which is the most important screen in the entire video, and I'm going to go through my entire thought process when I was making this build. Again, I'm going to show you guys how to get extra badges on your build, so don't skip around. You're not going to want to miss that part because that's actually a very crucial part of the video. But to start, I wanted a build that got an 80 driver dunk at the minimum. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have an 80 driver dunk, then you're missing out. If you have an 80 driver dunk, that allows you to get the best dunk package in the entire game, which is quick drops off one. So when you do make your build, make sure you go into the dunk packages and put on quick drops off one. So now that we have that out of the way, we're going to go to our 3-point and we're going to go ahead and max this out. We're going to get an 89 3-pointer, which if you guys check the badges, you can get gold agent 3 right at that 89 3-point shot cutoff, which is perfect. We also will get silver limitless range. It's just a little bit too tough to get gold at 92. Like, we'd have to really compromise our wingspan at that point. It'd be like a T-Rex. We'd be bad at defense. It's not really worth it. Next up, we're going to go to our ball handle. Like I said, this build can do everything. We want Hall of Fame quick first step, which you can get at an 89 ball handle. You guys see Hall of Fame quick first step. That is perfect. You know, if you want to be the best all-around build, you're going to need that badge. We're going to get every dribble move in the game, at least for builds above 6'5", which is still a lot of the best dribble moves in the game. If you need dribble moves, I have a dribble moves video on my channel. Just check my channel. It was like 2 videos ago. But next up, we want to play defense, like I said. So real quick, let's go to our perimeter defense and let's put this at an 86, which will give us silver clamps. As you guys can see, 86 perimeter defense unlocks silver clamps. 92 will give you gold clamps, but this build can't even get that, and that's pretty expensive. We don't need to go too crazy on the defense. This build isn't really insane at one particular thing. It's very balanced and just like above average at everything, which is the way that I want to make my builds. I don't know about you guys. If you want a build that is just really good at finishing and that's it, you know what I'm saying, it can't shoot, it can't play defense, then this is not the build for you. Next up, we're going to go down to our physicals. Probably the next most important attribute is going to be acceleration. If you're new to 2K, you probably wouldn't expect this, but acceleration is actually more important than speed, especially for more offensive minded players. Acceleration is going to be kind of like that speed with ball. Like, I know speed with ball is a stat right here, but if you want to dribble fast, you need your acceleration high. That is how point guards go left, right, and just dribble past you really fast. And just trust me, acceleration's got to be high, so we're going to max it out at an 82. While we're down here, we'll do our stamina too, because that's very important. We'll put that up to a 95. Reason we're not going 99 is because if you do the Gatorade workouts, if you get your gym rat badge, you get a +4 to all your physicals. And so, you know, we're not going to go to 99 because why would we do that if we're going to get the +4? Let's go back up top and finish off this build. So for close shot, we're going to put this up to a 77. And if you guys are wondering, why am I putting this at a 77? Why am I putting certain attributes at a certain number? A lot of it has to do with badges. Like, I'm going to try to explain it as much as I can, but I really broke out the calculator. I got in the lab and I did all the math to figure out what is the best badge combination that we are able to get. For example, we're going to put our driving layup up to an 80, which gives us Hall of Fame Giant Slayer. And also now we're at 14 finishing badges, but we're going to need a little bit more. We're going to put our standing dunk all the way up to a 75, which, by the way, I think standing dunk is actually an underrated attribute. Like, when you're under the rim and if you put on, say, rise up, or even, where's the other one, fast twitch is another badge. Those badges really help with your standing dunk, and I mean, it's just crucial. Compared to builds that have no standing dunk, this is an underrated attribute. And now you guys can see we have 17 finishing badges. You guys might be thinking, is that enough? For the best finishing badge layout with this build, you're going to want 19 finishing badges, and I'm going to get into how you can get extra badges later on in the video if you are not sure how to do that. You know what I'm saying? If you're new to 2K, you don't know how to get the extra badges. But for this build, we're going to get 17, and then we're going to put extra badges on after and get up to 19. 4 hours shooting mid-range shot is fine at a 74. If you're new to 2K, you might be thinking, I kind of want that a little higher. No, trust me, you can green with like a 50 midi. The only thing that really matters is 3-point. Make sure your 3-point's high. Mid-range, 74 is more than enough. Trust me. And who really shoots mid-range shots? Like, let's be honest, you're either shooting a 3 or you're taking a dunk. You know, occasionally you'll take a midi, but even with a 74, that's fine. Now for our free throw, we're going to put this up to a 77. If you play Pro-Am or Rec, this will help you out. And I know what you guys are thinking, oh, I don't really need free throw. But, you know, when the build is done, I had a few attributes left over, and so free throw was the only thing I could put it on, so that's why the free throw is up at a 77. Next up, we have our pass accuracy, and we are going to upgrade this a little bit. On next gen, it is more important because you have pass styles, and pass styles are very important. We'll get into that later, but look at the playmaking badges. At 74 pass accuracy, we do unlock a new playmaking badge. We get 15 playmaking badges. Then we're going to go down to speed with ball. We're going to put our speed with ball up to an 80. And as you guys can see, another playmaking badge at 80 speed with ball. We have 20 playmaking badges now on this build. So taking a look at the build, we got 17 finishing, 21 shooting, and 20 playmaking. In the top right, you guys see we're at 93 overall, and we still have not touched our defense / rebound, and we still have a lot of work to put in on this build. Let's talk about our interior defense, which is a pretty important stat, especially for someone like me that wants to guard all positions. If you want to guard centers, you want to guard post scorers, you want to play the ones court, you know, the galleon, whatever you want to call it, you're going to need your interior defense upgraded. And we're going to go to a 71, which once again, if you look on the right side, we're getting an extra badge. We go from 7 to 8 badges when we go to 71 interior defense. And a 71 interior defense is pretty solid. You'll be able to hold your own. Perimeter defense, we're going to keep that at an 86. Steal, we're going to put this up to an 86, just like our perimeter defense. And again, we're getting another badge. All of these attributes correlate to the perfect amount of badges. Like, trust me, right? I did the math. If you want the most badges, you want the best build possible, just copy this down. Also, you will be able to get silver glove and also silver interceptor, which is perfect. For our block, which is one of my favorite attributes this year, I think block is very good. We're going to put this up to an 85, which once again gets us another badge. We're at 17 now. And now we're going to go to our rebound, and we're going to go to defense, and we're going to put this up to a 72, which again gives us another badge. Now we're at 20 defensive badges, and you could potentially get a few more badges if you were to upgrade some of these stats. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to our speed, and I'm going to put our speed up to an 80. Like I said, acceleration is more for offense, you know, dribbling around, that type of stuff, but speed is very important. This is more for like off ball running and also defense. If you want to play really good defense, you got to have your speed up. And so this is the final build for Current, and you guys see the badges: 17 finishing, 21 shooting, 20 playmaking, and 20 defense / rebounding. We're going to get the best dunk package in the game with an 80 driver dunk. We get an 89 3-pointer. We're going to get gold agent 3s, one of the best badges in the game. An 89 ball handle. We're going to get all the dribble moves in the game, except for small guards. I mean, we can't get those, but there's not too many great small guard dribble moves anyways. And then look at the defense. This is just an all-around great build. Tell me a flaw right now. Tell me a flaw in this build. Now, you guys want to know, how do you get extra badges? I said in the intro, you can get 13 extra badges. If you guys are on current gen, which of course is the current gen part of the video, you can get up to 13 badges. The first way to do this is doing the Sam's quest. If you go to your quest on current gen, you'll see a quest from someone named Sam. This lady Sam stands right outside the 1v1 galleon, if you know where that is, on the promenade. And basically you just got to do a bunch of things. You got to get like a few layups, you got to get a few flashy assists, you got to 1v1 her in your my court, and eventually when you finish doing all her tasks, you get +4 badges. Now if you've already done this quest, you can do it again on the new build and get +8. The only way to get +8 though is if you've already done this on another build. And I'm sure there's videos on how to do that if you're confused, but just go to your quest. You'll probably see a quest from Sam. Now that's only 8 extra badges. If you want the other 5, you got to do the flashback games. I'm sure you guys can see it. You know, when you're playing My Career, you see the flashback game menu or whatever it's called. But basically, you guys want to unlock these flashback games fast, sim to like near the playoffs. That's what I did. And you'll start to unlock these flashback games, and every one that you play, and you have to win the game too. You got to win the game. After the game, they'll give you a free badge, and you can get 5 flashback games. So that's 13 extra badges. Now, I'm not just mentioning this for no reason. The best layout, the best way to do this build is with the 13 badges. So if you want the build to be obviously the best, you're going to want more badges. And this is what you want to put it on. You want to put 2 on finishing, so you get 19 finishing badges. You want to put 3 of them on shooting, so you get 24 shooting. You want to put 3 of them on playmaking, so you get 23 playmaking. And you want to put 5 of those extra badges onto defense. Trust me guys, I've looked at all the badges. I did the math, like, okay, clamps is going to cost me 3, challenger is going to cost me 5. I did all the math for all of the categories. That is the best setup that you're going to want to run. Now, if you never did the Sam's quest before and this is your first time, so you're only going to be able to get 9 extra badges, not 13, best layout is going to be +2 to finishing. You'll have 19 finishing, +2 to shooting. You'll have 23 shooting, and then we're going to go +1 to playmaking. You'll have 21 playmaking, and +4 to defense. You'll have 24 defense / rebounding badges. Continuing on, we have the takeovers, and as you guys can see, they're already on here for some reason. We're going to go with spot up shooter, sharp take as the primary, and for secondary, I'm going to go with lockdown defender, the defensive take, and then we can go ahead and finish our build. This is a crucial part to a lot of people that want to see what the build's called. It's called a 2-way 3-point shot creator. I feel like it's a pretty glitchy name. We got shades of Lonzo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, and Drew Holiday. I'm about to hop into the next gen version of this build, which is arguably better, but real quick, I already know people are gonna ask, what badges should I run? These are the finishing badges that I would run on this build, and for this example, I'm not able to have the extra badges because this is just in like the my player build test little thing. So this is what I'm running. Limitless Takeoff is like the best finishing badge. You gotta put this on ASAP. Put this on silver. Slithery, very good. Posterize, you're gonna want to put that on bronze. Giant Slayer, we want to put this on Hall of Fame, but I need the extra badges in order to do it, so I can't do it in this little test thing. Rise Up bronze is pretty good. Acrobat bronze is solid, but if I were to get Giant Slayer, I'd probably take off Acrobat. I think you could still keep on Rise Up, but yeah, Fearless Finisher is another really good badge. These are the shooting badges that I would run if we did not have the extra badges. Agent 3, put this on gold. This is probably the best shooting badge in the game. Green Machine, we have that on gold. Volume Shooter, this is a badge that I like to run a Hall of Fame, but we cannot get that right now. Maybe with the extra badges we can. So for now, I have it on silver. Amped, another really good badge. We have that on gold. And then Clutch Shooter, something I like to put on bronze, helps you hit shots late in the game. Deadeye, I have this on bronze. I would like to have this on silver, but we just don't have the badges for it right now. And Limitless Range, of course, put this on the max level. For the playmaking badges, we're going to run Clamp Breaker on silver. If you do have the extra badges though on this build, put this on gold. Handles for Days is going to be silver. Quick First Step, of course, will be Hall of Fame. Bailout is something I just like to throw on my builds, especially when I'm playing 2s, 3s, or even 5s. We're going to put that on bronze. And Unpluckable, of course, you don't want to be getting ripped. You don't want to be getting plucked. Put this on gold. For the defensive badges, this is the category where we're adding a lot of the extra badges to once you do all those quests, once you play the flashback games. So it kind of looks a little weird in this my player build tester, but look, we're going to want Bronze Anchor Challenger. We're probably gonna want this on gold, but for now we only have it on silver. And here, Silver Glove, I like to have bronze post lockdown, so once you do get the extra badges, you can put that on. Rebound Chaser, I'm a fan of this, at least having it on bronze, and I mean this build can only get it on bronze, so we're gonna do that. Chase Down Artist, put this on gold. Clamps, we're gonna go silver. Menace, max level at gold, and Workhorse is actually a solid badge. We're gonna have this on silver. I like to play ones a lot, so this is more of a ones badge setup, but once you get the extra badges, for sure you're gonna want to put on Interceptor on at least bronze. Now I think it's time to show you the next gen version of this build. Okay, so now we have the next gen version of this build, and if you do have the rebirth quest, of course you're going to want to do this because you'll start with 25 badges off rip, and you can upgrade to a 90 off rip instead of an 85. Of course, how you do this is if this is your first build, you can't do this, but if you have other builds and they're already a 90 overall, just go to your quest, you'll see the rebirth quest, and bang, that's how you do it. You just need a 90 overall on another build before this one. The next gen version of this build is very similar to the current gen version of this build, which is what I just went over, but there are some small changes. Everything is going to be the same from the vitals and like the body stuff. All that's going to be the same. So we're going to go point guard, we're going to go righty, and the jersey number is going to be 0, but of course that doesn't matter. You can just put on whatever jersey number you want. The height is of course going to be 6'8". The weight is going to be 186, and the wingspan is going to stay at default 7'1". Body shape, we're going to go with compact. And if you guys want to hear my in-depth explanation on why I'm going this height, why I'm going this weight, wingspan, all that type of stuff, just go back to the current gen part of the video. I don't really want to repeat myself, you know, and you could just go back and listen to that part if you want to know why I'm putting each body setting at each specific number. But now we have the attributes, the most important part of the build, and like we did on the current gen build, we're gonna go right out of the gate and put our driving dunk up to an 80. This is gonna allow us to get the quick drops off one, the best dunk package in the game. I'm not gonna completely repeat myself on all of these things, so let's just go ahead, put our driving layup up to an 80 as well, just like we had on the current gen build. Close shot is a little bit different though. We're gonna put this at a 76. I think on the current gen build it was a 77, and then standing dunk 2, this is gonna be a little bit different. We're putting this on a 70, which is still really good. Again, standing dunk, very underrated attribute. I think on the current gen build we had a 75, but this build we're gonna go 70. So that's gonna be it for the finishing. And if you're new to 2K, maybe you think this is a little bit weak. I really disagree, because with an 80 driving dunk, like I said, you get the best dunk package in the game. And again, close shot's pretty high, driving layup's pretty high, and our standing dunk is pretty high, which most builds don't have this high of a standing dunk. Now let's go to the shooting. You guys already know what we're doing, especially if you watch the current gen build part of this video. We're maxing out the shooting because that's gonna allow us to get gold, Agent 3, and of course the badges are very different on next gen compared to current gen. You have this tiered badge system. If you don't know how this works, basically you see the tier 3 badges. A lot of the best badges are going to be in tier 3. You can't put on any tier 3 badges until you've spent 10 badge points in tier 1 and tier 2. So you got to spend 10 before you can even touch these tier 3 badges, and that makes this build a little bit more difficult. That's why I had to change up some of the stats, change up some of the badge numbers, and also I'll show you how to get extra badges on this build as well. There's not only extra badges for current gen, but next gen also you can get get extra badges. We're gonna keep our mid-range at a 74. Like I explained earlier, 74, that is more than enough, especially in the mid-range area. 3 points really all that matters. Like, I could agree with like a 50 mid-range, so we're not gonna touch that. Free throw though, we're gonna put this up to a 69. That's gonna help us a little bit in 5v5 game modes. Also, at the end of the build, you know, I had a few attributes left over, so that's what I ended up putting it on. Let's go to our playmaking. Our ball handle is gonna be maxed out to an 89. This is gonna give us Hall of Fame quick first step, which is very important. Also, it's gonna give us pretty much every dribble move in the game. Like I said before, if you're 6'4" or under, you're gonna get the small guard dribble moves, which is only a few of them, and they're not even that much better than the tall guard dribble moves. I go crazy with the tall guard dribble moves. I'm sure you guys have seen it before. Trust me, this build's gonna be insane at dribbling. Next, let's do speed of ball. We're gonna put this up to a 77, which if you guys look at the playmaking badges, we're gonna go from 15 to 16 at 77. Trust me, I did the math for all of these attributes. You're gonna get the best badges. You're gonna get the most badges with these exact attributes. Now, pass accuracy. This is actually different from current gen, because on current gen, you don't have pass styles, which is very important on next gen. And to get really good pass styles, which basically allows you to throw really fast passes, you need at least a 75 pass accuracy. So we're gonna put that on, but there is a way where you can do 78 on this build. I'll talk about that later once we get to the steal, because it has to do with steal. Let's go down to the defense, and just like the current gen version of this build, we will have a 71 interior defense. I accidentally went one too high, and that also increased our strength. So there we go, 71 interior defense, which brings up our strength to a 46. We want to be an all-around defensive build. We want to be able to guard the small guards, of course, like why we're gonna, you know, upgrade our perimeter defense, but we also want to guard the tall guys. We want to have a lot of interior defense, and a 71 I feel like is more than enough. Our perimeter defense is actually higher on this next gen version of this build. On current gen, we only had it an 86, but on next gen, we're going to an 88, which if you guys look at the badge count, we're going from 8 to 9 defensive badges at an 88, so I like that. Also, for the steal, on current gen, we only had an 86, but on next gen, we're going up to an 89, which gives us another defensive badge. You guys see, we go from 13 to 14. And I said earlier, the whole pass accuracy thing, if you want to keep this at an 86, and for some reason you want more pass accuracy, you could put this up to a 78. It's completely up to you. Whichever one you want 3 more on, you can do that. I prefer steal, so I'm going to go 89 steal. Our block is going to go up to an 85 block, just like the current gen version of this build. We're going to get a ton of different blocking badges. Chase down artist is gold, anchor is bronze. For our rebounding, we're going to go to a 72 defensive rebound. That'll give us 22 defensive badges on this build. Now we have the physicals. As you guys know, acceleration, that is very important, especially for dribbling and just offense. Acceleration honestly is more important than speed on builds this year. If you're new to 2K, you probably wouldn't have expected that. And for our speed on the current gen version of this build, we went to an 80, but on this version, I tweaked it a little bit just because I needed to find a way to find more badges when I was creating it. And so I had to take our speed down by 1, which isn't going to hurt the build too much, but it will allow us to get the perfect amount of badges. So I had to take a small hit there. We got a 79 speed. Strength, we don't want to touch that. That's probably the most useless stat on next gen. Vertical does matter on next gen. It doesn't really matter on current gen, but we're going to keep it at a 60 because in order to get quick drops off 1, which is the best dunk package in the game, at an 80 driver dunk, you can get that. You only need a 60 vertical. So we're just going to keep it at that. And our stamina is going to go up to a 95 stamina. There's no point to go to 99 because with the +4 you get from the Gatorade drills, or if you get the gym rat badge, you get +4 to all your physicals. So why would we go to 99 when we get the +4? But this is the build. It is a little bit different than the current gen version of the build. Look at the badge count. We get 17 finishing, 21 shooting, 21 playmaking, and 22 defense/rebounding. Let me know in the comments a flaw with this build because I really don't see one, bro. I really don't. Now, some of you guys want to know, how do you get extra badges on this build? How do you make this build, you know, at its full potential? Well, let me tell you, if you have never done the welcome to the league quest, which most people do when they're on their new, you know, their first build. So if this is your first build, then you probably haven't done it. But if you have other builds, you might have done the welcome to the league quest already. If you already did that quest, when you load up, you're going to get 4 extra badges off rip. I think when you go to your badges, bang, it'll pop up. Where do you want to put them? What category? But if you've never done that quest, go to your quest and do the welcome to the league quest. You got to play like a few micro games. It's not too hard. It might take you like an hour or 2, but you get 4 badges. And 4 badges is a lot, especially on next gen where you have this tier badge system and you can't touch the tier 3 badges until you spend a certain amount in tier 1 and tier 2. You're going to want those extra badges. And So with those extra badges, I actually put all 4 of them on finishing, because look, at tier 3, bro, there's a lot that are really good. You're gonna want posterizer, you're gonna want slithery, you're gonna want limitless takeoff. So put the +4 on this core slithery. So that's going to be 6 free badges. If you guys don't know what a core badge is, I mean, maybe I'll explain it later, but you basically get a badge for free. So we're going to core slithery, and then we're going to get silver limitless and bronze poster. Now, if you guys want even more badges, when they come out with new seasons, and you know, they have the level 1 to level 40, at level 39, there is sometimes a +1 extra badge point. If you have grinded to level 39 before, then that is going to be crucial, because for this build to be at its full potential, we're going to want the +4 to finishing, but we're also going to want +2 to playmaking, because look, bro, there's a lot of important badges. Killer combos, that's not one of them, but clamp breaker, we're gonna want that on gold. Handles for days is important on silver, and implacable, of course, want that on gold. If you have never hit level 39 though, and you don't have those extra badges, I mean, you can hit it this season and get 1, but if you have none, I recommend going clamp breaker on bronze. I think you'd have to do that if you don't have the extra badges. Handles for days and implacable, those 2 you're gonna want, but if you can get the +2, you can get all 3 of these just by coring one of them, which you might core handles, or yeah, handles is probably the easiest one to core, or implacable if you can do that somehow, or if you can core clamp breaker, that would be great. But this is what the final build looks like. Let's go ahead and continue. Now we have the takeovers. What am I going to put on? I'm using limitless range on almost all my builds, so we're going to put that on as our primary. Secondary, we are going to put on one of the lock takes. We're going to go with extreme clamps. Some builds, like my him build, the 6-9 build, gets rim take. Rim take is a little glitchy, but sometimes it almost seems like it's broken, so I have run rim take as primary on some builds, but limitless range, that's probably the best option. So we're going to go ahead, click continue, my player build complete. And what is the build going to be called? What are our shades going to be on this build? We get Lonzo Ball, Halliburton, and Penny Hardaway, which I think is the same shades from the current gen build. And the build is called a 2-way 3-point shot creator, just like the current gen build. Now, I gotta give you guys the best badges, right? If I'm showing you the best build, I gotta show you the badges. And especially on next gen, where the badges are different than current, you can't just put on any badge you want. We have this tiered badge system. You gotta spend 10 badge points in tiers 1 and tier 2 before you can even upgrade any tier 3 badges. So this is what I'm going with: Acrobat bronze, Rise Up bronze, Giant Slayer, Hall of Fame, and Fearless Finisher on silver. Now, the thing is, limitless takeoff is the best badge, but it's pretty hard to core. I think there are some tutorials, you know, to do it easily in my career. I don't really know how to do those though. Slithery might be the easiest to core, so if you want to try and core that, you could probably do that. I actually wouldn't recommend that. I would go limitless, and then I'd watch a tutorial on how to core it fast, because once you core that, you get that badge for free, and then bang, you have another, what is this, 6 badges you could put on slithery or posterizer. And then if you get the +4 badges to finishing from the Welcome to the League quest, you can actually have posterizer bronze and slithery on silver, so you have all 3 of the tier 3 badges here. Okay, now the shooting category is the rare case where tier 3 badges are a little bit overrated. The only one that I want is the limitless range, so we're gonna put that on silver. Deadeye is a good badge. If you're playing current gen, you can use it, but on next gen, it costs too much. It's tier 3. It's just too much of a hassle. And actually, if you do core limitless range, then that's gonna free up some extra badge points. Then you could put on Deadeye, but off rip, you're not gonna want to get Deadeye. So this is the setup: Amped, Agent 3, Green Machine, and Volume Shooter. Playmaking is interesting. Like I said, we want to add +2 extra badges to playmaking once you do the quest, or if you hit level 39 in the season. Quick First Step is really the only important badge in tier 1 and tier 2, so we're gonna put that in Hall of Fame. It costs 6. Then we're gonna go Bailout, which costs 3, and Ankle Breaker, which costs 1. That's gonna get us our 10 points, so now we can get a tier 3 badge. I'm gonna get Clamp Breaker last, so what you're gonna want to do is get Handles for Days, and you're also gonna want to get Implacable. Once you core one of these, that's gonna free up a ton of badge points. Then you can get Clamp Breaker. And if you guys don't know how to core a badge, I probably should have said this earlier, but you guys see that bar in the bottom middle of the screen? It says Handles for Days Core Challenge. That bar is full. It says complete. So bang, if I click this, I didn't even realize I could do this in here, but if I click that, now I have it cored. It's on the right side of the screen. Those badges are free up. You guys see, now I have 6 more badges I could put on Clamp Breaker, just like that. Or the best way to probably do this is to put on Ankle Breaker and core that, because that's going to free up 7 badges. Now we can put Handles for Days on silver and Clamp Breaker on bronze. And of course, if we do get the +2 to playmaking, we'll put Clamp Breaker on gold. But basically, how to fill that bar and how to fill up that core challenge, you have to do whatever the badge is. So if it's Handles for Days, you just got to run around the court. You just dribble a lot, you know what I'm saying? Or if it's Bailout, you just got to throw a bunch of bailout passes, like pass out of shots and stuff like that. For our defense/rebounding, these are the badges that I put on to get us to the 10 badge points. Then we're gonna go clamps. Of course, we're gonna core that. We're just gonna assume that that's gonna be cored pretty fast. We're gonna go challenger on gold and anchor on bronze, and that is gonna be the badge setup that I run for defense. This is, in my opinion, the best build in the game. This is the end game build. Now that we know the glitchiest things in the game that people love to do, the glitchiest things that people love to abuse, we know what the the meta builds are, I think this is the build that I'll be using to finish out NBA 2K23. Hey, this might be my last build video of the year, so the next build video you might be watching might be day one of NBA 2K24, which is gonna be mad hype. Sub up if you guys are excited for that. Sub up because I put in mad work to, you know, figure out this build right here. Drop a like if you guys want to see more. Appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.